Good afternoon, and welcome to the Wednesday afternoon conference call with Trusts Unlimited. This is Jim George speaking. I'm the non-attorney spokesman and facilitator for Trusts Unlimited, and I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to this call, particularly those of you calling in for the first time and those that will be listening to the replay over the next 24 to 48 hours. We like to move quickly through these calls and bottom line the information for you. This call this week will again be a short call. We will not be reviewing our program in detail and going to a Q&A for some very important things that are going on right now. First and foremost, we have been literally inundated with requests for our trust package. Since Monday, we've received over 100 requests. We've always attempted to make sure that everyone got their completed trust package within 5 working days once they have properly applied, completed the application for a trust. And it's virtually impossible for us to stay in that window if we continue to market the trust. So on a week-to-week basis until the reinstitution of the dinar, we may not get into the program in great detail simply because we've got a workload right now that we can barely handle. Now, certainly after the reinstitution of the dinar in country, we will permanently stop any marketing whatsoever of these trust packages and devote our time to assisting our existing clients with the management and funding of their trust packages, the exchange process, and then all of the other critical post-RV issues that we'll be dealing with. Those of you that are calling in for the first time and would like to know a little bit about our program, you certainly can get our initial no-obligation package, and I'll give you the contact information at the end of this short call. But I would also suggest that you go either to YouTube or IQD calls and go to our March 3rd call. It does have a lot of information about the process of the reinstitution of the dinar, but it also includes an in-depth explanation of the program we've put in place to assist you both pre- and post-RV. So let's go ahead and at least talk a little bit about the situation in Iraq today. First, and again by way of disclaimer, Trusts Unlimited is not the purveyor of the dinar and these other currencies. We're not advocating either the sale or purchase of these currencies, but as rather substantial currency holders ourselves, we're sharing with you the information that we believe is most relevant. And of course, the most relevant piece of information would be the potential window for the reinstitution and revaluation of the dinar and some of these other currencies. As we speak, there is still the possibility that the dinar could reinstitute in country. But personally, from my perspective, when we get this close to the end of a quarter, I would much prefer to see the reinstitution and the revaluation occur in the beginning of a quarter. That's for a number of reasons, one being the tax implications being deferred until July 15th, also your ability to hold the currency for that length of time rather than being forced to exchange it in order to pay whatever the tax might be, and that's another subject that we will be getting into. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Iraq. There are productive negotiations in a number of areas. One is the federal Supreme Court law. This law has to do with ensuring that the court is uncorrupt, apolitical, and independent. That's not an easy slog. Frankly, I don't think we've accomplished that in our own country, given what's been going on in the last few months. The second issue is the passage, or rather the tweaking of the oil and gas law prior to passage. Now, this law has to do with the equitable distribution of petroleum revenues and utilizing a portion of those revenues to rebuild certain areas within the country, poorer areas. And the third issue is the 2021 budget. And there are a couple of sticking points with the budget, although they tend to be more technical than really deal breakers. One has to do with Article 11, which is the Kurds' obligation for the payment of dues to Baghdad. They've been delinquent since 2004. Again, of course, the oil and gas law, which again is the equal distribution of oil revenues. And last is debates over the dinar exchange rate. Actually, it's risen. Now it's at 11.45. It was going down to 14.50, and they even threatened 1,600. Now, the reason for this is not, as some people have feared, oh my gosh, the dinar's never going to reinstitute. It's actually dropping. This is the deletion of the zeros, which I have repeatedly stated is technically the collection of the zeros. What they're doing is they're devaluing the provisional 3-0 currency in order to collect them in country. So that actually is a good sign for a reinstitution. Now, the solutions to these technical issues is, of course, being negotiated. There is a faction that says, look, let's just postpone all of this. Let's go ahead and pass the budget and worry about the current share and the exchange rate immediately post facto. A second faction says, no. According to the law, the budget cannot be passed until they have made a deduction for the Kurds' share. The solution, in my opinion, is very simple. We've seen the price of a Brent barrel of crude globally double in the last few months, the last 90 days. Therefore, the revenues that the Kurdistani region has gleaned has doubled in the last 90 days, and they can utilize that surplus to pay the delinquent dues to neutralize the problem. Now, of course, because that's a simple solution, it unfortunately evades politicians. We don't have to look any further than our own country to see how this is possible. But given everything that we've seen over the last 2 weeks and what's going on right now, we are moving in the right direction. There is the possibility, not the probability, but there is the possibility we could see a reinstitution this month, but I really feel like we're probably pushing it into April. And for the reasons I stated, in my opinion, at this late date, beyond the Ides of March, let's wait until April. And that way we'll have plenty of time to do all of the things we need to do in terms of when to do the exchange, how to invest the money, when to pay the taxes, and what other things that need to be done before we start investing. The other issue, or rather the last thing I'll mention again, is once again the concern about the deflation of the dinar in country. It is true that it is highly inflationary for the average citizen on the short term because they have been hoarding dinar. They don't trust the banks. Now they're being told, well, the longer you hold that provisional currency, the less it's going to be worth. So you might as well suck it up, go to the bank, exchange it for the USD or some other currency until we reinstitute. So that's where we seem to be right now. So again, I apologize that this is going to be a short call. Again, I suggest those of you calling in for the first time go to our March 3rd call, where you'll get a detailed explanation of our turnkey program to assist you both pre- and post-RV. Let me see if I can pull our contact information up here. You can go to our website, which is trusts with an S, unlimitedllc.com. Our email address is trusts with an S, unlimitedllc@gmail.com. Our phone service is 307-274-4122. And again, for those of you that have contacted us to request our trust package, or you have applied for the package and you're waiting for your trust, we will remain within our 5-day working day period to get your trust package to you. That's one of the reasons why we are on a week-to-week basis going to suspend the marketing of the trust package. We want to make sure that we get all of the trusts out from those who have requested them. We feel it's the only fair thing to do. So again, thanks so much for listening to the call. We very much appreciate your taking the time to do so. We will certainly be back next Wednesday. Certainly, if something of a dramatic nature were to happen between now and then, we'll try to get out an emergency email and schedule an emergency conference call. But failing that, we will be back next Wednesday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And again, if you've contacted us, you will be hearing from me hopefully before the end of this week. Take care and have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.